Well, hi everyone, it's Pete from Townsville here again. I've just got a few more of my finds I want to show you that I've detected over the years. But first I just want to show you, this is the bottle that I picked up in my last video out west when I was detecting. I told you I was going to bring it home and give it a bit of a clean up. Well, as you can see, I gave it a nice clean up and it's come up quite well. I don't know whether you can see it, but there's some nice bubbles of air in there, and you can actually see through the bottle now. And I've actually had to give it a thin coating of oil, and then you wipe the oil off, and that gets rid of a lot of the dirt that you couldn't actually get off it itself. But that came up very nicely, and I'll actually display that upstairs with some of my other goldfield finds and things like that. But first, apart from that, I wanted to show you this. I found this on the goldfield quite a few years ago now, probably about 8-9 years ago, and what it basically is, it's a French bayonet. I've had it identified as a French bayonet that's been cut off, but it's had copper wire wound around as a handle, and basically it can't be used for cutting because, as you can see, it being a bayonet at its three sides, so the only thing it could be possibly used for would be self-defense. And I actually sat it in my boot when I was detecting one day. When I first found it, I put it in my boot and I walked around quite comfortably without it rubbing, so I imagine that's where it was probably hidden, in a a miner's boot as self-protection on the goldfields. But yeah, it was quite a good find. Now, if the bayonet itself was complete, it would probably add about another 1.5 to 2 foot onto what it is now, and it would be quite valuable. But that was a good find in itself, but very, very, very dangerous. And it's pure and simply designed so if anyone stabbed you with it, these grooves are to allow air into the worm and for the blood to drain out. So it was designed pure and simply for the one thing, and that was to, well, basically kill you. But anyway, apart from that, these are some of the coins I detected at the army camp. I showed a few of my finds here, like the Rising Sun badges and all that. But the oldest coin I actually found, I've identified this. It's got roughly, I think it's William after, I think it was George III. And it's got, I think it's William the VII, I'm not too sure. But William the IV or something like that. But anyway, it comes from about 1823, 1824, that shilling. But it's barely recognisable. This threepence, basically it's just the shape of a silver coin, a threepence coin, and there's no design that I could see on it to identify what period or what king or queen it's from. But all up I scored 107 silver coins. As you can see, the florins here, I got 5 florins. This one here, pure and simply, has just been worn down, but it still has some of the grooves on the side, the milling, and I think some soldier was possibly going to make something of that. But as you can see, I've got florins, old shilling coins, sixpences, a lot of threepences there, and then the early threepences themselves from George V. And these other ones over here I haven't been able to identify. All told, I got 134 pennies and half pennies. I've never bothered to go through them. They're all rather creative because of the soil, like maybe the what was it, the fertiliser that was in the soil. Maybe this was a 2-up penny, okay, 1922. Maybe it was used for 2-up, I'm not too sure. But there's quite a few coins there, a lot of silver coins. Now, when you think about it, these coins mightn't be worth much themselves, but they're all prior to 1946, which means basically they're all .925 silver. And basically, just say silver itself is like $40 an ounce. Well, you've got about, just in an old florin such as this, you've got, even though the coin is no good itself, you've got approximately $13-14 worth of silver. And as the shilling coin weighs half of the florin, you've got approximately $7 worth of silver. And as the sixpence weighs half of the shilling, okay, you've got about $3.50 worth of silver. And then it just goes on and on. So whatever you do, if you've got any old silver coins, you know, don't sell them or give them away. You've got a lot of scrap silver here. There's quite a few dollars worth of scrap silver. Now, I don't know much about these, but I haven't been through the pennies and half pennies, but there's a few good coins amongst them, but nothing, you know, there's a bit of corrosion here and there. But anyway, moving on, I found this ring when I was detecting at the army camp as well. There's a few designs in it, but one looks like a crown, but I believe it's been homemade. But there's a bit of gold flecking in there, but they're like copper granules on top. Now, this ring has amazed me because when the detector went over it, the earphones screamed and nearly jumped about a foot. But they're copper granules on top, but I don't actually know what the ring itself is made of. It looks like it's been varnished, but there is like a couple arrows in there and a crown, but I haven't got a clue what it's made of. I will find out one day. Now here I found a couple of American 1-cent coins from the war years as well. There's a 1920 and a 1910 in here as well. These are called wheatbacks because they've got the actual wheat. And then this one's 1910, I believe this one is. Can't probably see the date's very small on the American coins, but I'll just get in there. I think that one's 1941. I think it's the other one's 1910. And I also found this farthing, which is a 1908 farthing. It's been a bit bent, but that was a good find as well. And looks like someone squashed this sixpence, I'd say it'd be. They've squashed it, and they were going to make something out of it. And then I've got another 1942 shilling there, and it just goes to the pile. Now these two rings have been made from coins, and they haven't been quite finished. But this ring here, when I picked it up, a black stone fell out of it, and if you think I could find that black stone, but inside there it's actually got a date from the actual year of the coin itself that was made from. It would have been, I'd say, a shilling, but as you can see, they had a lot of time on their hands and they've made some beautiful work. Now, just going over here, these are some of the rings, gold and silver rings that I've found in the time I've been detecting, which is probably approximately about 15 years now. This is my favourite ring. As you can see, it's gold and silver. I found this on the beach down at Rose Bay here in Townsville, but that's a beautiful little ring, and just gave it a shine on my pants, and as you can see, the old gold just comes up. It's beautiful, lovely little ring. But I've got a few more here. Now you can see the size of this big fella. Either it's a toe ring, or the bloke who owns it has got a bloody big finger. As you can see, it just swims on me. And then you've got that against a tiny little child's ring. So you can see this bloke had a big foot, or he had a big finger. Same with this one. All silver, so you can see there's quite a bit of scrap silver here. I was detecting in a park, and I found this, some beautiful charms on it. It's all worth, you know, a few dollars, I would imagine, but I'll just put them away, and if ever got to sell stuff on a rainy day, I've got that to give me a hand. Same with this one here. I found it near a tap in a park as well. Obviously the child had dirt on him, and Mum and Dad were washing the dirt off, and the bracelet came off, which was a shame. But as you can see, I've got some nice little rings here. Also some, you know, these charms would go on the bracelets as well. Got one of the old Coke bottle. It's obviously broken off at the top there, but this in itself is, it says here 5 grams of silver. Okay, so that was a good find as well. But as you can see, I've got quite a few rings and bracelets and all that sort of stuff, and a bit of silver here, and one day I might even bring out my goldfield finds. This was a good find. It's actually an old ashtray. Like, I honestly don't know how old, but I can remember these being in the pubs many, many years ago. But it's a bit dinged up, but I found this at an old bottle dump that I was having a look at Charters Towers Way. So I'd like to reshape it, but I don't dare touch it because, you know, when it comes to handyman, I'm guaranteed to break something, then fix it. So I'll just leave it as it is, and I'll let someone who knows what they're doing maybe have a go at it one day. But that is definitely a nice find. Anyway, that's just a few more of my treasures I've got here. As Warren says, my man cave. It is my man cave, and I love it down here. It's very, very quiet when everything else is a little bit noisy. But in my ultrasonic, I've got all the bullets that I found on the last trip, plus a couple more in there. I'm just cleaning them up. I've got my tumbler there. My wife got some new canisters, so these hold my my shot that I clean everything with, and the powder that I use to clean things with. And just generally, it's just things I like that are down here. My little hideaway, as I call it. A couple of old pipes here I picked up at the goldfields. And for those of you that haven't seen it, the old bullockers used to just knock the top off their plonk bottles. And I actually found this on the goldfields. I've still got the knot in it to hold the cork in, but the old timers had just broken it. So that's a beautiful example of the actual knot. And a bit of petrified wood. My dad found it in the yard, and he just put it on his cutter and made it, and I've had that ever since, and I'll keep that. It's very dear to my heart because my dad gave it to me. But that's some more of my finds. I hope you enjoyed. I've got plenty of others upstairs that I can always bring down and show you. But for now, it's farewell until next time. I'll see you later. Bye.